The lone human diplomat stood at the center of the vast circular chamber, his weathered space uniform bearing Earth's insignia, a simple blue marble wrapped in laurel leaves. Hundreds of alien representatives from across the galaxy peered down from their elevated seats, their expressions ranging from curiosity to outright disdain. The air was thick with tension, and Ambassador Chen could feel sweat beading on his forehead under the harsh purple lights. You dare question the Galactic Council's authority? The Grand Speaker's translucent tentacles rippled with indignation. Earth was given clear directives: cease all military expansion beyond your solar system. Yet here we stand, discussing your flagrant violations. Chen allowed himself a small smile, one that carried the weight of humanity's long journey from a primitive species to a force that could no longer be ignored. With all due respect, Grand Speaker, Earth doesn't answer to directives anymore. We're not the same species you discovered 2 centuries ago. Murmurs echoed through the chamber. Some delegates shifted uncomfortably in their bioorganic seats, while others furiously tapped on their data terminals. They all remembered the day Earth was discovered, a seemingly insignificant planet harboring what they considered a moderately intelligent species. The Council had expected humans to fall in line like countless other civilizations before them. Need I remind you, Chen continued, his voice carrying across the chamber, of the Proxima incident? When pirates from the Orion Syndicate attacked our colony ships. He paused, letting the words sink in. The Council promised protection. The Council failed. We lost thousands of innocent lives that day. The Grand Speaker's upper appendages twisted in what Chen had learned to recognize as discomfort. That unfortunate incident was. That incident, Chen interrupted, causing gasps among the more traditional species, taught us that we can only rely on ourselves. Earth didn't expand its military, we evolved it. While you were busy debating policies in this chamber, humanity was solving problems. We developed technologies that your scientists deemed impossible. We unified our planet not through force, but through necessity. The holographic displays around the chamber flickered to life, showing images of Earth's latest achievements: quantum-shifted battleships that could traverse dimensions, energy shields that could withstand stellar explosions, and healing technologies that could regenerate entire limbs. You are all developed in secret, away from the Council's prying eyes. This isn't a violation of your directives, Chen declared, his voice growing stronger. This is humanity's notification. We're taking our place among the stars, not as subjects, but as equals. Your rules were written when we couldn't even reach our own moon. Times have changed. The chamber erupted in chaos. Species that had been enemies for millennia found themselves united in their shock at human audacity. The Grand Speaker's translator struggled to keep up with the flood of alien languages being shouted across the chamber. Order! The Grand Speaker's voice boomed, bringing a temporary calm. Ambassador Chen, surely you understand the implications of your words. The Council has maintained peace for 50,000 years. No single species can be allowed to. We're not asking for permission, Chen said quietly, but his words cut through the chamber like a plasma blade. Earth has already begun. Our ships are establishing bases in unclaimed systems. We're offering protection to younger species who fear exploitation. We're creating something new, an alliance of equals, not subjects. As warning klaxons began to sound throughout the Council station, Chen's communicator chirped with an incoming message. He knew without checking that Earth's first wave of ships had just emerged from quantum space across the galaxy. The Council was about to learn a harsh lesson. Humanity had outgrown its cradle, and no amount of regulations could force them back in. The real question now was, would the Galactic Council adapt, or would they make the fatal mistake of treating Earth like just another rebellious species? The Council chamber's warning sirens continued their haunting wail as holographic screens materialized across the vast space, showing hundreds of Earth vessels appearing simultaneously at strategic points throughout controlled space. The ships weren't positioned to attack. They were establishing a presence, making a statement that couldn't be ignored. Impossible, whispered a reptilian delegate, their scales shifting from deep green to pale yellow in distress. Our sensors indicate their quantum signatures are completely masked. We can't track their movements or predict their trajectories. Chen watched as the Grand Speaker's appendages twisted into complex patterns, presumably communicating with their military advisors through some biological mechanism humans still didn't fully understand. The ambassador felt a deep sense of satisfaction, not from fear he was causing, but from finally showing the galaxy that humanity would no longer accept second-class status. "What you're seeing," Chen explained, his voice steady and clear, "is just the beginning. While you've been treating Earth like an adolescent species, we've been studying, learning. Every time you denied us access to advanced technology, we developed our own solutions. Every time you restricted our expansion, we found more efficient ways to use our limited space." The memories of Earth's struggle flashed through Chen's mind: the resource wars, the climate crisis, the population challenges. But instead of destroying themselves, humans had done what they did best: adapted, innovated, and emerged stronger. The quantum-shifted ships were just one example. Earth's scientists had cracked the code of dimensional engineering not through brute force computation like most species, but through elegant mathematical theories that even the Council's brightest minds hadn't considered. 3 decades ago, Chen continued, noting how even the most dismissive delegates were now paying rapt attention. When the Council refused to share medical technology that could have saved millions during the Gray Plague, we didn't beg. We didn't comply with your suggestions to let nature take its course. We cured it ourselves, and in doing so, we discovered cellular manipulation techniques that surpassed anything in your databases. A holographic projection appeared above the chamber's center, displaying the neural network of colonies and outposts Earth had already established. It was beautiful in its complexity, a web of human innovation and determination that had been growing right under the Council's nose. "Your bioscanners are probably telling you I'm calm," Chen said, addressing the security specialists who were undoubtedly analyzing his every breath. "That's because this isn't a threat. It's an invitation. Humanity is offering the galaxy a different path, one where knowledge isn't hoarded, where younger species aren't suppressed for centuries before being deemed ready for advanced technology." The Grand Speaker's translation unit crackled to life, their voice carrying a note of what might have been respect, or perhaps fear. "And if the Council refuses this invitation?" Chen's expression remained neutral, but his eyes carried the weight of Earth's resolve. "Then you'll watch as more and more species choose to align with Earth instead of accepting your restrictions. The Arcturus Federation has already signed our charter. The Proxima survivors were the first to join our alliance. Even now, representatives from 30 different species are meeting on Earth to discuss membership." The chamber erupted again, but this time the chaos was tinged with uncertainty. The old power structure was crumbling before their eyes, and no amount of political maneuvering could stop it. Humanity had changed the game, and they'd done it without firing a single shot. As the Council delegates argued among themselves, Chen's communicator vibrated again. Phase 2 was ready. Earth's revelation was about to become even more interesting, and the galaxy was about to learn why humans had always excelled at turning impossible situations to their advantage. Chen's palm device projected a series of coordinates into the chamber's center, replacing the previous hologram. The numbers hung in the air like stars, each one representing a location that made the Council members' bio-readings spike with recognition. Several delegates immediately began accessing their secure databases, their movements growing more frantic with each passing moment. "These," Chen said, his voice carrying a hint of pride, "are the locations of every restricted research facility the Council has hidden throughout the galaxy. Facilities where you've been developing weapons that violate your own treaties. Sites where you've been experimenting on sentient species without their knowledge. Places where you've hidden historical records that contradict your carefully constructed narrative." The Grand Speaker's translucent form pulsed with patterns that Chen's neural translator couldn't decipher, likely emergency protocols never meant for outsider observation. "This is classified information of the highest order. How did you—" "We had help," Chen interrupted, allowing himself a small smile. "It seems humans aren't the only ones tired of the Council's hypocrisy. For centuries, you've preached peace while preparing for war. You've promoted unity while enforcing division. The truth has a way of surfacing, even in the vacuum of space. The chamber's environmental systems struggled to compensate for the heat generated by hundreds of agitated alien species. Some delegates were already attempting to leave, only to find the chamber's quantum locks engaged, a council security measure now being used against them. Your own security protocols, Chen explained, noting their confusion. Modified, of course, by some of your former cyber defense specialists who now work with Earth. It seems even your most loyal servants eventually tire of maintaining lies. Through the chamber's transparent ceiling, new lights began appearing in space, ships dropping out of quantum shift. But these weren't Earth vessels. The designs were varied, representing dozens of species from across the galaxy. The Council's worst nightmare was unfolding, a unified opposition to their authority. Phase 2, Chen announced, watching as the Council's military advisors frantically reported the growing fleet above. Representatives from every species you've suppressed, every civilization you've held back, every world you've exploited. They're here to witness what happens next. The Grand Speaker's translator crackled with static before stabilizing. You cannot possibly understand the forces you're dealing with, Ambassador. The Council's authority extends beyond mere military power. There are things in motion that have been carefully orchestrated for millennia, like the Omega Protocol. Chen's words caused several of the eldest council members to physically recoil. Yes, we know about that too. Your final solution for dealing with problematic species, the weapon you've been building in the galactic core, designed to selectively target specific genetic markers. The chamber fell into stunned silence. This was information that even most council members weren't privy to. The implications of its revelation sent shockwaves through the assembly. The supposed peacekeepers of the galaxy had created a weapon of mass genocide. As if on cue, Chen's neural link pulsed with an incoming transmission. Earth's special operations teams were in position. The next few moments would determine whether the galaxy would enter a new age of cooperation, or whether humanity's gambit would trigger a conflict unlike anything seen in galactic history. The Grand Speaker's form began to shift, taking on a configuration that hadn't been seen in recorded history. The ancient being was preparing to reveal its true nature, and Chen knew that Earth's most crucial test was about to begin. The Grand Speaker's transformation sent ripples of energy through the chamber, causing the quantum barriers to flicker. Their translucent form crystallized into something ancient and terrible, a being of pure energy wrapped in what appeared to be fragments of space-time itself. The other council members backed away, their own pretenses of diplomatic civility crumbling in the face of this revelation. You see now, Ambassador Chen, the being's voice resonated directly in everyone's minds, bypassing all translation systems, why your species was kept under observation for so long. We are not simply administrators. We are the guardians, the last survivors of the universe that existed before this one. Ken's neural implant screamed warnings as it detected energy patterns that defied known physics. But he stood his ground, humanity's determination flowing through his veins. And that gives you the right to play gods, to decide which species live or die, advance or stagnate. We have seen civilizations rise and fall across 1 trillion years. The Grand Speaker continued, their form casting shadows that seemed to bend reality. Your kind, organic, short-lived, ambitious, you always follow the same pattern. You reach too far, too fast. You create weapons that tear the fabric of space-time. You destroy not just yourselves, but the very foundations of reality. But Chen noticed something the Grand Speaker hadn't, the other council members' reactions. They weren't showing reverence or loyalty. Their bio-readings displayed fear, yes, but also recognition, understanding. The same look humans had worn when they finally understood they'd been manipulated. That's an interesting story, Chen said, activating a quantum resonance device hidden within his uniform. But I wonder, have you told your council members about the true purpose of the Omega Protocol? Not just to eliminate problematic species, but to harvest their quantum potential, to feed your own existence. The chamber erupted in chaos as hidden data streams activated on every delegate's terminal. Information that Earth's deep space archaeologists had discovered in ruins older than the Council itself. Evidence that the Guardians weren't protectors, but parasites feeding off the quantum potential of evolving species to maintain their immortality. Your civilization is young. The Grand Speaker's form pulsed with barely contained energy. You cannot comprehend the sacrifices necessary to maintain universal order. The quantum potential of a few species is nothing compared to. Compared to what? Chen challenged, as his neural link confirmed that Earth's quantum ships had finished positioning themselves around every known council facility. The right of immortal beings to prey on the young. We found the records of the original council, the real Galactic Council, the one you destroyed and replaced millennia ago. The other council members were accessing the data now, seeing the truth for the first time. Their own civilizations had been carefully cultivated not for peace, but as potential energy sources. Their technological development had been controlled not to prevent warfare, but to ensure their quantum potential remained harvestable. Ken's communicator pulsed one final time. Earth's special forces had secured their targets. Throughout the galaxy, hidden quantum harvesters, the true purpose of those restricted research facilities, were being shut down. The Grand Speaker's form flickered, their connection to these energy sources suddenly severed. Humanity never needed your permission to advance, Chen declared, watching as the being of energy struggled to maintain its form. We needed your attention. While you watched our ships, our real work was happening beneath your notice. And now, every species in the galaxy will know the truth. The Grand Speaker's response was cut short as new alarms blared through the chamber. Something massive was emerging from quantum space, not Earth ships this time, but something far older. The original Council's emergency protocols, dormant for millennia, had finally detected the imposters and were awakening. Chen smiled grimly. Humanity had done what it did best, not just fighting the system, but dismantling it entirely. The question now wasn't whether the Guardians would fall, but what would rise from the ashes of their lies. The ancient emergency protocols materialized as massive crystalline structures, their surfaces reflecting the history of 1 billion worlds. They emerged through quantum space like avenging giants, their very presence causing ripples in reality. The Council Chamber's advanced systems, designed to contain the most powerful beings in the galaxy, began to crack under the strain of energies not seen since the dawn of civilization. You've doomed us all. The Grand Speaker's form fluctuated violently, their voice a mixture of rage and desperation. These protocols weren't just disabled, they were contained. Without our constant suppression, they'll rewrite the fundamental laws of this sector. Everything we built will be undone. Ken's neural link buzzed with incoming data from Earth's quantum ships. The readings confirmed his suspicions. The protocols weren't weapons of destruction, but tools of restoration. You mean everything you stole will be returned. That's what you really fear, isn't it? Not chaos, but justice. The chamber's quantum barriers shattered as the original Council systems began their work. But instead of the destruction the Guardians had feared, something extraordinary happened. The crystalline structures were scanning every species present, reading their quantum signatures, their histories, their potential. Genetic markers detected. An ancient voice echoed through the chamber, its language somehow understood by all, processing civilization development patterns, calculating quantum interference levels, initiating restoration protocols. The Grand Speaker launched themselves at Chen, their energy form becoming a weapon of pure destruction. But before they could strike, a beam of light from the nearest crystalline structure froze them in place. Guardian entity identified. Unauthorized quantum manipulation detected, initiating quarantine procedures. Chen watched in awe as the chamber transformed around them. The crystalline structures weren't just machines. They were the encoded consciousness of the original Council members, preserved at the moment of their betrayal by the Guardians. They had waited eons for a species bold enough to uncover the truth and brave enough to act on it. Your role is acknowledged, human representative. The ancient voice continued as the Grand Speaker's form was systematically decomposed. Your species' actions have initiated the Great Restoration. The quantum potential stolen from countless civilizations will be returned. Natural development patterns will be restored. The other Council members watched in stunned silence as their own bodies began to glow with restored quantum energy, power that had been subtly drained from their species over generations. Knowledge and capabilities that had been suppressed began flooding back into their collective consciousness. But as the chamber filled with the light of restoration, Chen's neural link detected an anomaly. The returned quantum energy wasn't just restoring what was lost. It was catalyzing something new. The combined potential of thousands of species, finally freed from suppression, was creating possibilities that even the original council hadn't foreseen. Warning, his neural implant flashed. Quantum convergence detected. Unknown civilization pattern emerging. The crystalline structures pulsed with new understanding. Unexpected outcome, the ancient voice acknowledged. The combined restoration is creating a quantum civilization gradient. Your species' actions have not just restored the past. They have opened a path to a future we never imagined possible. As the chamber filled with swirling energies of transformation, Chen realized that humanity had done more than expose a cosmic conspiracy. They had become the catalyst for the galaxy's next great evolution. The age of the Guardians was over, but what was beginning was something far more incredible. A true union of civilizations, bound not by control and fear, but by shared potential and purpose. The final quantum readings crashed through his neural link, showing him a glimpse of what was coming. It wasn't just freedom from the Guardians' manipulation. It was the dawn of something that transcended all their previous limitations. Humanity hadn't just changed the rules of the game. They had transformed the very nature of what was possible. And somewhere in the quantum depths of space, the first pulses of this new reality began to spread, carrying with them a message that would echo across the cosmos. The true age of galactic civilization was finally beginning. In the days that followed, the galaxy witnessed a transformation unlike anything recorded in known history. The crystalline structures, having completed their primary restoration, took on a new role as guides rather than rulers. They shared the complete, unaltered history of the galaxy, allowing each species to understand their true heritage and potential. Chen stood at Earth's primary quantum observatory, watching as the new civilization pattern spread across space. The stars themselves seemed brighter, their light carrying the enhanced quantum signatures of freed worlds. Reports flooded in from every sector. Species that had been deemed primitive were making technological leaps that defied explanation, while advanced civilizations were discovering entirely new dimensions of science and culture. The quantum convergence has stabilized, his assistant reported, analyzing the latest data streams. Every species is advancing along their natural path, but they're also contributing to something greater. It's like watching evolution happen on a galactic scale. The former council chambers had been transformed into the Galactic Commons, a true meeting place where representatives from all species could share knowledge freely. The oppressive purple lights were replaced by the natural glow of quantum-enhanced crystal formations, each one telling the story of a civilization's journey through time. But perhaps the most profound change was in how species interacted with each other. Without the Guardians' manipulative influence, ancient enemies found common ground, sharing resources and knowledge instead of competing for them. The quantum potential that had been harvested for so long was now serving its true purpose, fostering understanding and growth across all civilizations. We never imagined this outcome, Chen admitted to the assembled Earth leadership. We thought we were fighting for independence, for justice. Instead, we helped birth a new age of galactic cooperation. The original Council's emergency protocols, having completed their restoration work, began to evolve alongside the civilizations they had helped free. They became living libraries, preserving the true history of the galaxy while helping guide its future development. Their crystalline forms became landmarks across space, symbols of both ancient wisdom and future potential. Earth's role in the galaxy transformed as well. Having proved themselves as catalysts for change, humans were now seen as neither conquerors nor subjects, but as valued members of the galactic community. Their unique combination of determination, innovation, and willingness to challenge authority had broken a cycle of oppression that had lasted for eons. The Guardians were right about one thing, Chen reflected, watching as another quantum ship departed Earth, carrying scientists to collaborate with newly awakened civilizations. We are ambitious. We do reach far. But they never understood that our greatest ambition wasn't to rule the galaxy. It was to see it flourish. As the last light of day faded over Earth's quantum observatory, Chen received one final transmission from the crystalline structures. It wasn't a message of instruction or warning, but a simple acknowledgement. The pattern is complete. The future is undefined. Your species has given the galaxy something we never could, the freedom to evolve together. The stars continued to shine with their enhanced brilliance, each one a testament to a civilization exploring its full potential for the first time. The age of the Guardians was over, replaced not by chaos as they had feared, but by something far more powerful, genuine unity born of freedom and shared purpose. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, the quantum echoes of this transformation continued to spread, carrying with them the story of how humanity's defiance had led not to destruction, but to the greatest renaissance the galaxy had ever known. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in countless millennia, it was truly free to unfold as it should.